This version of It's Eric Nagel has been modified from its original broadcast. Content has been edited to fit this platform.
Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see.
Are you ready? I said, are you ready?
It's Eric Nagel. And it starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear, it's Eric Nagel.
And thank you, Scott Shannon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the program. I am Eric Nagel, and joining me, as always, from the frozen tundra known as Arizona, say hello to Jordan.
Hey, everybody.
Jordan, I guess we weren't ready for the people that were here alive. It was just like, ooh, pull the curtains close. We just got out of the shower.
We're not ready.
But for the radio audience,
early.
You have no idea what we're talking about, and we prefer to keep it that way. If you are listening on the iHeartRadio app, do us, damn it, I never get it right, do us a kindness and put us on the number one spot on the presets for there. It means something to somebody, or so I'm told. But if you're on Apple and Spotify, you can go over there and do us a kindness. Leave us a positive review. It does help out the program. If you want to join us live each and every week as we do this show, the live audience is coming in right now. So this is the radio audience. You head over to YouTube and to Twitch. At It's Eric Nagel, you can be part of the program there, and if you can't do the live stuff, I understand. You're selfish and inconsiderate, but some people have lives and families, and they are busy. If you're one of those, if you're all of those, fine. Don't let it happen again. But you can go over to our YouTube channel. You can catch up on the episodes that you missed, the latest episodes that come out, clips, highlights, all that fun stuff. All right, we are here. We are queer. We don't want any more bears. Jordan, how are you, my friend? How's life out in the desert of Arizona?
It's hot, man. It is ridiculously hot. And it's like to the point now where I do this sleeveless thing as a joke every now and then. No, this is necessary.
Right.
I've got my AC cranked up. My temperature gauges are
thought it was
showing.
just because you put on a few pounds.
I mean, there's that, but no, I've lost a few pounds.
Okay.
I plan on gaining them back for the winter so I can hibernate. But, you know, that's what bears do.
You burrow into the couch and sleep the winter away.
You know what? I'm going to do that. So, no, it's been one of those weeks where everything, like, apparently, like, you sit there and you think, oh, it's hot. This sucks. And then you get told that this is the hottest week we've had so far this summer. I was like, what the hell has everything else been doing?
Yeah, they do like to say, they do love to point out the southwest part of the country when over here we go through ebbs and flows of, hey, it's 64 degrees this week, and oh, great, it's 107. And then it shows how it all stretches across the country. And where does it start? The southwest portion of the United States. And there's Arizona leading the charge, showing us that how terrible everything is out there where you live.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you think you have it bad, and they're like, oh, it's a dry heat. I was like, I don't care.
Oh, it's a dry heave, is what they're saying.
It's a dry heave for sure. So,
last week out there, your kids started school, so school season started out there because again, Arizona has to make it about themselves to try to get some sort of attention.
Right.
The rest of the world does it probably within the next week or two because colleges start in the middle of August. Other schools around the country start somewhere in the middle to late August. On the East Coast, Northeast side, mostly everybody starts right after Labor Day. But you got school season up and running. But you have a different season that's happening right now.
Yes, we do. We have tarantula season.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I
was going
don't
to say, did you have the picture? Because I'm trying to load a few things.
I did right here. There we go.
Tarantula season here in Arizona. We don't get snow. We don't get rain. We get tarantulas. And these things are like, I would say the size of a baseball. They're huge.
Yeah, they are pretty big. I'm pulling the other photo here that you sent me. So much that your local news had to announce it with festive graphics.
Right.
To let everybody know, hey, everybody. Let me see if I can pull that one up right here. Here it is. It's tarantula season in Arizona.
Heads up, Arizona, tarantula season.
So now it's official.
It is official. It's part of our seasons. We got.
What do you leave out at night for the tarantulas so that they bring you gifts the next day?
All the cicadas and crickets.
I was going to say the children duct taped to the kitchen floor and then you hiding upstairs on the second floor with a broom. Hoping they take the children and leave you alone.
Yeah. So Casey is telling me they're bigger than that, and its body maybe be the size of a baseball. Yeah, they're huge. They're big.
Yeah, you need to move. You need to move. There's just there's no reason to be there. There's a reason that it's isolated and it's a desolate land.
Right.
It doesn't produce anything without man's help. You don't have natural lawns.
I was going to say our lakes are man-made.
Yeah, you don't have a proper irrigation system.
We have irrigation.
Your sports teams are imported, and the ones that started there have all left to Utah, amongst other places.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
So maybe this is the sign that you need to, hey, we live in a world where we can work remotely now. Maybe I should go investigate the Midwest or back to the Midwest, or maybe investigate the East Coast.
Right. No, I've thought about that. I thought if I ever moved from this area, in fact, I was actually just talking about this with my boss. I've been in the office a couple days this week, doing some management type stuff, getting to know like some of the other managers in my group. And my boss asked me, like, look, are you a native here? And I'm like, well, I've been here long enough to feel like I'm a native.
Right.
But I'm not like tied here other than, with the kids. If I had it my way and I would move, I'm going the opposite direction. I'm either going to go to the Pacific Northwest where I can get some weather, some rain, and I can relive my fantasy from Twilights.
Right.
Or I go the opposite direction and go to like Maine and like Rhode Island, like up there where it's nice and cold, and do the opposite of the weather I get here. So trust me, I don't want to be here forever, but who knows?
I know.
Who knows?
Your kids are used to moving from school to school. This will just be another thing
Right.
in their history. I like this name. Gary Gay Boobs is in the chat. Saying,
hi, Gary.
Jordan's sleeveless look is so hot it heats up the nation.
That's right. That's right.
Our pal Tom from Alberta, Canada, who has no right to comment on United States affairs. In Arizona, they hibernate during the summer in the AC. Do you make little tents out of your couch with blankets and pillows, crank the AC, close the blinds, and pretend you're actually at frozen tundra?
I do crank. I treat my house like when you go like travel and you go to like a hotel room, and the first thing you do is you crank that down to the lowest possible setting.
Right.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I try to keep it.
Do that. Put the
to
Christmas
72
lights
at
up,
least.
and then pretend that you're actually enjoying a proper holiday, living
Right.
in a normal climate.
Kids go running out with a sled, jump out the front door, and there's just sand.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it.
Shep, our pal Shep, he's in Texas, in case the name didn't give it away there. He said, crowbars work well. Saw it on Home Alone for tarantulas.
Did see that.
Tom's asking, if it's tarantula season, you mean it's okay to hunt them? Are they protected? Is your
I don't
state
know.
dumb enough to say you can't step on them?
I don't know if they're protected, just like snakes aren't protected. Like if you've got like rattlesnakes, you can shoot them.
Right.
Just go and shoot them. The only thing I can think of that's protected here in Arizona are the saguaro cactuses. So I think tarantulas may not be a protected.
Yeah, but a
species
cactus
out
isn't going to potentially bite and kill you.
there. I don't know. People have been killed by those things falling over on them.
All right, that's just hilarious. That
It
should
is,
go on those
yeah.
like America Fails accounts that you see on TikTok.
How did he die? He was kicking a cactus.
It's like, so wait, he fell onto it? He ran and jumped onto it? What happened? No, he was standing there taking a photo. He's from he's from Montana. He never saw cacti. He's there, and then all of a sudden the cactus fell on him and impaled him.
He's like, look, I can do it too, and then it just. Yeah. No, I think that's the only thing. Like,
Casey's
actually
saying that's
protected.
gross. We don't step on them. I'd step on them.
You would step on something the size of, like, say, a softball.
Yeah, you got to dig your
I can't
heel
just
in.
Step on like,
Or I'd walk around in cleats all the time.
golf
I know it's
shoes.
hot. I don't care about flip flops and sandals and all that. It'd just be golf cleats
No.
24/7 walking outside.
I don't even like stepping on like a roach. Anything with an exoskeleton, just the crunch alone makes me cringe.
Out here, you're allowed to. In fact, they encourage you killing. It's an invasive species called lanternflies.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they came in from Egypt or South America, I forget, somewhere not here. And they're invasive. They kill other bugs. They eat flowers and all this other stuff. You're allowed to kill them. So when you see them, they're kind of brown and spotted. They don't look like any other kind of bug until
Right.
their wings open, and then they look like ladybug red in the middle. And then you go, oh, it's on. And then you go start stomping around like
Whacking
you're in a mosh pit or something.
Interesting.
If you go by any public area, like a parking lot to a store, a shopping complex, the train stations, anything, you see them dead, splattered all over the place. People are just constantly running over them or purposely stomping on them to kill them because there's just too many of them. They need to all go away. Tom from Alberta is saying duck season, rabbit season, duck season, tarantula season. Fire. Yes. That'd be good. Spin the bill around because Daffy somehow looks like a tarantula.
Yeah, so these things like burrow. So they're out and about. They're hiding in things.
Yeah.
Casey in the chat was telling me a story that she was looking for her tortoise and found a burrow where she thought the tortoise was in it, and no, another tarantula was just chilling in there.
Right.
So it is a season for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. Casey's also saying the crunch, it's nasty. Yeah, but they need to die. They need to go away, and they need to be taught a lesson, because if one gets away, he needs to scurry back to the others and warn them of what's afoot. And you just go.
Much like the documentary Starship Troopers, the only good bug is a dead bug.
Correct. But also, if it gets so bad, I'll give you the number of John Goodman. He'll come out there and take care of all your spider woes.
I love that movie.
Gary Gay Boobs is saying barefoot tarantula stomp sounds like a 90s radio bit. Yeah. Imagine doing that barefoot.
Ska band.
No, they don't have like stingers because they're spiders, but they have like pointy teeth, right?
They have pretty big teeth. Well, they're not pointing them up at your foot. So that's one thing. But
they're like vampire bugs.
Well, the thing with tarantulas is that they look like they're soft, but the fur that they have is very coarse and kind of spiny. So like sometimes other bugs, that's why they don't attack them, because those things can be like.
Well, they're also a master of
fiberglass on you.
They're also a master of disguise. They're very deceptive. You know, when you start seeing a clown peeking through the gutter, and then when you go down there and you finally think like, all right, we killed the clown. Oh no, the clown was really a giant tarantula. And there's more danger afoot. And then you just, sewage gas, do a lantern, spider goes up, you save your brother, you come back 30 years later. There's a whole thing going on here. Never trust a tarantula, especially if the clown's involved.
Never trust it.
It's a whole thing here. Tom saying, please don't step on me because I am an invasive species. Yes, but you provide a good or service, so you're useful.
He only
for now.
Every now and then.
Casey's saying they have one that lives just off their porch, and they name him Chuckles. Stop befriending. What are they, arachnids? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, don't befriend the arachnids, because the next thing you know, your family, your loved ones, your pets will all be woven into webs. Like, it's not cute like Charlotte's Web as you've been taught as a kid. You come home and your whole home is just encased in spider webs. And it's essentially mummification. You lock the door behind you and you burn everything that you know and love.
Actually, I don't kill the spiders that are usually in my house. Like if you go like down the hall, right before you go downstairs, there's usually a spider up in the corner.
Right.
I leave it there because we also get like mosquitoes and crickets. They usually kill them. So like I've keep them around and I don't mess with it. One year we had a spider that was so big, as a joke, I made a tiny little stocking for Christmas, and we named it, and we put it up next to it, and like for a month around Christmas time, you would see this giant spider, and then it's like its little stocking for Christmas. The kids got a kick out of it, but yeah, we tend to leave them alone. We've never had an incident. I don't get them this big. The size of this is no
just because you live there, that you choose to live in that part of the world, does not mean you need to adapt to the environment around you. That is not. There we go. That is not your friend. That is not a pet. That is not to be taken by any means other than that needs to be eliminated sight on scene, or scene on sight, whatever the term is. It has to go. I don't know why you live there. You still need to move.
Did I tell you what the temperature on my car was the other day?
What?
123. My temperature gauge when I got into my car on Tuesday was 123. Now, that's because it's been sitting, so it drops down a little bit, but it never went down further than 117. It would hit 120 today. It's been nuts, dude. Like, it has been grossly hot outside.
Ugh.
Like, this has been the worst week.
We've had heat, then it cooled down for a little bit, then we had earthquakes. We're not supposed to have earthquakes up here. We had earthquakes. The other day, actually, no, it was Saturday night. I was
two different times.
I was in the studio doing stuff, and I just feel the rumbling and like the consoles moving, everything's kind of moving, and then all of a sudden it hits a big impact all at once, almost like it was an explosion.
Wow.
And I'm like, something exploded outside or crashed. I don't know what it was. So I go up, I go to check, I walk around.
One of those drones that were flying around your area like a year ago.
Well, I can handle drones. Drones aren't going to, unless they're peeking down in the window like the kids from Salem's Lot, trying to lure me out to my death.
Come outside, Eric.
Yes. Glowing eyes, fangs, all that stuff. It's like, the detail on these drones is insane nowadays. No, so I go check, the house. Everybody's all fine, good. Kid woke up freaking out. What's going on? Mm-hmm. I said, I don't know. I'll go take a look. I go outside and just to look out front, and everybody on the block's out. And then I'm looking down some other streets. Everyone's out on there. Like, I don't know how far this went, but a lot of people in the neighborhood were all just standing outside. What's going on? People are thinking that a plane crashed. There was an explosion. Something was going on there. There are all these theories. And as I walk down to the end of my driveway, I'm hearing everybody already talking. First thing I'm doing is I'm going here. I'm like, all right, let me hop on Twitter here, because that'll be your first news feed. And then I'm looking, and then it's like, okay, everybody hear this? Rattling was an explosion. No, I think it was an earthquake. Everything starts earthquake. Within 10 to 15 minutes, you had unofficial sources saying that it was a 3.8 earthquake. And then I think half an hour later, some from official geologists that people trust and what have you said it was a 3.0. And we're like, okay. Well, it's 2 in the morning, something like that. I'm not going to do much. Finished up, went to bed, got up in the morning, did a parameter check, went and checked the foundation and all that stuff. Like, everything's fine, no big deal. Okay. Then the next couple of days, in the midday, we're getting like 2.7s, enough that everything's rattling. I was like, what is going on here? And then, it's not a national news story because any kind of earthquake out on the West Coast is covered all over every news channel. Here it was like, well, New York got a 3.7, but everyone's fine. Moving on. Like, nobody seems to care out here. These little aftershocks, tremor, whatever they are, we're not used to this. It starts happening, and now the local news is like, this is a bad trend. We shouldn't be having this here. Yeah, it's been 3 days. Now the news is catching on. It's like, yeah, this shouldn't be happening. But on the other hand, what are we going to do? There's nothing here to do about it. We are not prepped for these things. Our buildings are not made. They're made to sway, and they're made to withstand like tsunamis and hurricanes. They're not meant, if the ground is shaking, goodbye most of Manhattan. That's just what it's going to happen, right? And then it stopped. And then every day, people are posting and stuff online, checking. There might have been some kind of seismic tremors going on here, but nothing over a 1. It's like, stop. This isn't the new, everyone's now an earthquake expert on the internet because it's the latest thing to happen.
I was just going to ask that, because that's usually what happens when these things happen in the area that are not used to it. Like when we have a tornado that touches down, like say Scottsdale, everybody's talking about what they were doing when it happened. They talk about the weather. Everyone becomes experts.
Yeah. Everybody reads a couple of Instagram posts, a Wikipedia page, and now they're out here. They're going to tell us about tariffs. They're going to tell us about the legalities of what China can do with TikTok. They're going to tell us about vaccines and pharmaceutical care. And now they're earthquake experts. Where do you live? Oh, you're down in Union, New Jersey. We don't have this. There's no one here who should be an expert unless you have a degree.
They're like, oh, you're a seismologist? What now? That's how smart they
You just look at him and you go, K, and post the thumbs up emoji, which apparently everybody hates, but it's fun to do.
It usually draws people's ire.
Yeah. Gary in the chat saying, it's the end of times. Pretty sure the Bible said something about heat wave, earthquakes, and hairy spiders. If it starts raining tarantulas here, I'm leaving. I'll just walk into the ocean and stand there like at the end of Deep Impact with, what was it, Taya Leone and her dad? And I'll be like, my time has come. I've lived a good life. I'll just wait for it all to take it away from me. But anyway, so enjoy your tarantula season. I'll enjoy earthquake season, and it's been and I'm going to knock on wood now, rather quiet hurricane season.
Yeah,
between
that's true.
Here and family in Florida and everything, we watch it like nothing's going on. So we're like, all right, brief little moments, and then you're just like, okay, let's just keep it that way. But how everything has changed now, we've got wildfires from California affecting here, from Canada affecting here, mini earthquakes. I'm sure somehow, in some way, it's going to be hurricane season by Thanksgiving. Like something's going to hit us.
Well, didn't the last big earthquake happen in October? So we still have time.
No, we've had earthquakes around September. So, like you're talking
not the earthquake, the hurricane, the one that really messed up Florida.
Did I say earthquakes? I meant hurricanes. Yeah. The one that was Sandy. That was 2012. But there was other ones that hit here. Yeah, around September, October that flooded the studio and the house and all of that stuff. So. Yeah, we have all that fun stuff to look forward to, and then of course, we are under the 100-day mark for Halloween. I think we're at 80-something days now till Halloween. And then the middle of September is 100 days to Halloween, at 100 days to Christmas. So if you go and look at the stores, all the back-to-school stuff's gone. Halloween stuff's starting to come in. Fall stuff's starting to come in. We're always, everything's off kilter. The timeline is always
years gone by fast.
Messed up. Okay, we have all of that stuff there. We have that and all the other stuff we got to get to. A little bit later on the show, we're going to talk about people got to calm down about the Howard Stern news because now everyone's taking it as gospel. It's like, I'm just going to say this. Consider the source. It's a British rag that has been sued multiple times for invasion of celebrities' privacy and all other kinds of things. And you're going to take hearsay off of that, where they said in the article it's rumored that this has happened, and then it blew up into this whole thing. But we'll get into that. We got some WWE backlash happening for the last week. A bunch of stuff that they've announced, the stuff they did at SummerSlam. We got to talk about that. So
much stuff that Eric had to tell me that he's got some very important things to tell me. So, of course, I think something bad's happening. And I get on, and he proceeds for the next 45 minutes to tell me what's going on after SummerSlam.
It's kind of a big deal, and it transcends.
When someone calls you, you think it's an emergency because they always text you, and then you proceed to tell me about wrestling. I think we need to really talk about what an emergency is.
I'm also bored. Everyone's gone at night. I'm there by myself with my own thoughts. It's like either I tell Jordan this, I'm just going to be playing video games all night.
I'm fine with it.
Either way is not healthy, but I need to get some of that out somewhere. And Jordan, I know Jordan being on another time in another time zone works for me and my odd schedule. So
yeah, it works out.
We got WWE. I've got more. We got some more WNBA stuff going on. That's ridiculous. I put together a nice montage of things. Some of the stuff you don't even know that just recently happened. It's all in there. And then I'm going to introduce you again to Mike Francesa. I've got a bunch of new stuff with him. Legendary talk host here in New York City, and just the butt of callers' turmoil for 3 decades. And it just keeps going, even in podcast form now. But we do have a guest.
Ooh, we do.
He's here. I want to bring him on. This is a gentleman I've known on and off for, I think, almost 20 years now. And he was a host of one of the most popular talk shows in the entire country. They were the Monsters of the Midday and then became the Monsters of the Morning after the station got rid of Howard Stern and moved them up. He was with them for God knows how many years. And then, he's done acting. We talked about him a bunch of times. Walking Dead. He was on Hawkeye on Disney Plus. And now he's doing his own thing, which is really what I want to talk to him about, because it's very rare when people leave TV or radio to start up their own thing and keep at it. Because most people don't even get to the point where I don't want to set up a YouTube channel. That's the easiest part. Set up the channel. Then you have all these ideas. Then that's the hard part of trying to get all that stuff together. Well, I don't want to make it. I don't want to make an Instagram handle. I already have one. How am I going to manage 2? What is wrong with you? Fix your priorities. Anyway, he's here and he's going to tell us all about that. Say hello to Carlos Navarro. Carlos, hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastico. How are you?
I am doing great. We've got tarantulas. We've got earthquakes It's a whole.
What we don't have is sleeves, Eric. What are you doing?
I know. I'm missing out here.
I got the memo. You didn't get the memo.
I didn't get the
sent
memo
it out earlier.
Should we send it to Eric? Nah, forget about it.
No, can I?
He'll never do.
It's gonna look dumb if I.
Come on, dog. You gotta get here. You gotta get here.
We gotta get him we gotta get him a hoodie that has no sleeves, so at least he can keep the look.
All right.
What's up? That's what's up. I like that. And
I'll do half and
just
half.
saying, Eric, right before this, there was something. Oh, you are so right. So many lazy ass radio people don't even know how to turn on the damn Instagram. I don't like posting. They're so lazy. The majority of radio people are lazy, not driven, and want that corporate gig, man. And so whenever there's anybody around like you or me, and Jordan, I don't know your background, but you seem awesome because I love your room and all the stuff behind it. So
his kids can't go to college, but he has a great room.
Hey, F them kids. He needs a really good toy room, okay? All right?
There you go.
Look at that. That's what's up. I like that. But, it takes balls. It takes balls and drive. And the majority of these people don't have that. They don't have it.
And you know what's interesting? The ones who are the laziest are the ones who are the most successful at doing radio, that were hosting shows.
Yes. I know exactly. I was trying to put together what you're saying. You are so right, because they kind of are the corporate pigs that are willing to lead others to slaughter, that will feed on the grain, if you will, and will play the company line. And if you do anything outside of the box, they don't like that shit. And that's why you get cut.
Well, I want to finish touching on the laziness of people first before we get into all of that stuff. And Jordan can attest to this. I had a side business for a long time where I was essentially being a consultant, but not telling them how to improve their programs. It was, this may all end soon. I was like, again, the angel of death with them. I was just like, your career may end soon with the way everything's going. Do you own your stuff? Do you have another contract coming up? Can we figure out how to get ownership of these things? Can we set up a foundation for these things to turn on within a matter of weeks if you get let go, right? So I had a handful of clients and I was begging them forever. I'm like, you have producers, you have a whole team. Just tell them, send a copy of your show every day, the video and the audio, to you, put it on a Google Drive, download it to a hard drive so you have everything. They would never do it. And I'm like, I'll gladly take your money that you're not going to listen to me, but you should probably listen to me because that money won't be around when this is done. And then what happened? After last August, Jordan and I were at a radio conference out in San Diego,
which, by the way, is happening this week.
It's happening right now. We went into there with SiriusXM doing a massive layoff. That thing, there was speculation of other companies might be doing a layoff. Everyone leaves, and a lot of people were from iHeart. They go to work that following Monday, walked in, and got cut. After coming to an event that the company sponsored, by the way. There was parts there, right?
I know.
Then going through the fall, I just saw it in every walk, and it didn't matter if it was one company or other. They were let go. Morning shows were getting let go that were successful or making money got let go, or their staff's getting cut. People, their co-hosts being let go, which I know you can resonate with, and we'll get into that in a moment. But then I would get the calls like, what are we going to do? How do we? I'm like, all right, well, we're ready to set this up. Do you have your material? No, I'll call my producer and get. I'm like, you don't have it.
It's gone.
What do you mean? No, I'll just call him. I go, do you think, one, the company's going to either give it to you, or two, it's even still in the computer? It's probably deleted. If your show is gone, you're gone. Your stuff's gone. You should have had this backed up. You should have had all these. Well, how do I get that? And this is another thing, too. This is a unique problem that people don't understand. Well, can't I just get it off YouTube? Who's archiving your show on YouTube? Right. Well, you guys had... The show I was on was different. The show you were on was different. The show Howard is different. Those are shows that had massive audiences and people archived this stuff. I mean, we have our stuff, but that's on available. Some of these people were successful in other markets, but they didn't have the big exposure or the national presence for being a local show and having national reach to have all of this stuff. You're lucky if you have some nerd that still was taping them on cassettes every morning for you that can give you a box of those kind of things. They don't have these things. So all right, then we're going to have to start from scratch. We got to work fast because you want to get it within a couple weeks so you don't lose the audience that you had from the radio. Okay, well, how do we do this? Well, here's what we can do. It's going to cost you this. I need you to pay for these things, this program, whatever. Well, I don't know if I want to spend that money right now. I just then you can't continue.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen. You don't get off the ground. Most of them are just walking around aimlessly. It's like, I don't even know if I want to go back to TV or if I want to go back to radio. I don't know if you have the option to right now.
Right.
Because
what jobs are there?
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. But you need to spend your money to make this foundation, to build your own thing. I came from a world where we had a very successful show that imploded, but we kept on for a little while. And then another part of the other half of the show went and built his own thing because he had the foresight to do it. That's where I learned a lot of that.
Sure.
And I learned, like, all right, owning, from all our years of being syndicated and with silent, how to do contracts, how to do ownership. I'll take less money to get ownership of that or to do some of these other things. Everybody was like, no, you got to get the most money. Don't worry about the other things. How about you take a little bit less and get all those other things and you'll be better down the line. They don't do that. So now we're here where the radio companies don't want to own their own properties anymore. The television networks must see, I bring this up, must see TV Thursday nights. You knew all the NBC shows that were on. You don't know what any of the shows are on these networks anymore, and they don't want the ownership of it. They want to license somebody else's successful property and put ads on it. It's like, we just want to do the ad sales for it. We'll give you this amount of money. You do all the production, all the social media, all the video, all of those things, and we'll just pay. We'll pay you for that, so we can reap the ad revenue from your show. That only works for not even a percent, like a fraction of a percent of shows are able to command all of that. Everybody else has to work for it to keep it going, and you can be successful with a smaller audience as long as you keep at it and they're loyal and there's integration and interaction and all of these things. You can't work a regular radio job anymore. They just don't want you because they'll see you and they go, "Oh, you have all this success. You've been on these shows. You've done all things. Oh, that must mean money. We don't want to spend money on you. We just want to make the money. We don't want to pay for anything."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're not going to have that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You were going to say something?
Yeah, no, you just gave a whole thesis on basically what everybody's.
Could you tell it's pent up? Yeah.
I was listening to you, and I was like, anybody who is done with a media job needs to listen to what you just said and just write it down and go with it. If this is the world you want to live in, several things I want to touch on. The whole thing about having a smaller audience and really being able to make money from it is never more true than now with the memberships on YouTube, with Patreon, with just staying consistent. And most people, they're going to give it a little shot. They're going to try a couple weeks. They're not going to have a plan. And they're going to say, "Oh, well, I tried." Or they're never even going to get out. It's the Pareto principle. 80% of the people will never even take the first step. And 20% may actually do it. And then that last 5% will actually move forward. And you really got to want it. And I didn't want this after I was let go on the radio about a year and a half ago. I wasn't trying to do a show again. I was acting. I was speaking. I was making good money on the show. I knew iHeart was a zombie company.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Paramount Plus and all these companies who don't make any revenue and are just purely living off the stock market and marketing award shows. It's disgraceful. It's gross. It's truly, when you see these stocks make nothing, they just chug along just enough for the next quarterly, for the next CEO to get their next percentage bonus so they can do the next cut, so they can hopefully be sold to a bigger company that is also not making money, that happens to have a little bit more capital. That's just what happened with Paramount Plus.
It's keeping the plate spinning and then let somebody else deal with it.
That's what happened with HBO, Discovery, and all this stuff. Like, it's just the same shit. Let's write this off. Let's do this. Let's sell this off. And now we're going back to the old branding. We're splitting the company up because we don't know what we're doing.
And look, after I had great times at iHeart. Obviously, we're ex-radio dudes. We're a bit bitter, right? Like, it kind of comes with the territory. There's no doubt, that has a little bit of that. Had wonderful times. There's some great people that work there. You know, take everything with a grain of salt, obviously. But ultimately, it's dead. Radio is dead. And I said this then and there, and they know it, and they all feel it. Because let's be honest, who the hell turns on the radio anymore? Let's be dead honest. Very few amount of people.
Old generations older than us.
Okay.
And that's because they've had it that way all their life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so now I have a show that I'm doing, and I've done it over a year and a half. I had to gauge it. The only reason I started doing the show was, A, I had to get something out, something live, something fun. People reached out to me, hey, what are you doing? I said, I don't want to do a podcast. I'm an actor. I'm an entertainer. I'm a speaker. And radio was something that I did and I loved, but I'm not a radio dude. I respect radio dudes and broadcasters, and I kind of consider myself a broadcaster in that sense. But I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do it, I'm not going to do some bullshit podcast. Everybody sits down in two chairs and they're sitting there talking. They don't know they don't have any broadcast experience. You guys are different, obviously, because you guys can actually, talk about a great topic. But a lot of these people, man, they just sit there and just, and I didn't want to do that shit. So I was like, all right, let me do a live show. Well, live shows are tough as hell to do. YouTube does not reward live shows. So you have to simultaneously be creating videos and shorts to promote your live show. So all these things you got to learn, because there isn't somebody like Eric, unless you pay them, and you should pay Eric his money, pay him the damn money. He's a good consultant. And then you can get a head start. You can jump ahead and not have to learn a million programs and go, look, you're going to need Premiere. You're going to need Audition. You're going to need StreamYard. You're going to need to learn some AI. Just learn ChatGPT. You're going to need YouTube. You're going to have to get a new Instagram. And they're going to go, whoa. That's what you got to do if you want to have a show today. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. You know who I talked to a lot after the show was Bubba the Love Sponge. He gave me a call after I got fired. And I don't know what your relationship is with him. Him and I have always been, I've worked with him. I knew him, but I didn't know him that well. And then when I got let go, he rang me up and he messaged me and he texted me, hey, it's Bubba. Hey, it's Bubba. Hey. And I'm like, oh shit, it is Bubba. It's kind of funny. And he straight up was like, dude, you're going to be fine. You're going to be great. You got everything that happens, Carlos. You're fantastic. And he straight up, Eric and Jordan, he was like, he told me everything to do. He's like, no. He's like, if you ever need anything from me, let me know. No problem at all, man.
Could you tell Tuttle to stop calling me? Thanks.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I've done. And I'm playing the long game, man. I just kind of see this as like, I love talking. I love talking about this. And so I got a Friday show. I got my members. I'm making money already. And I have a little different angle than everybody else with my studios producing cinematic commercials and movies and stories and consulting. So that's the angle that really has helped me really make good money doing it.
Because you mentioned Bubba, I've always... It's been a weird relationship with Bubba because, him and Opie fought for a while because he went on Howard's thing. So he thought we had to clash. And
Sure.
And then it got to the point after he left, I guess they talked and stuff. And he's like, well, it's radio. We had to do it. So it's like, we really had no problem with Bubba, but Bubba is Bubba, and Bubba fights and lives a wrestling gimmick as his life, the entire thing. And look, he's done some things that I'm not a big fan of and what have you. But I respect him to an extent for some of the radio stuff he did. One of the things that I learned off of him was in the late 90s. He was still on a station in Tampa. He was still with Clear Channel, right?
Sure.
I remember Radio and Records, that thing.
Yeah, of course, that was a big deal.
Right. It was a big deal. Yeah. You couldn't afford it, but if you got into a radio station, that was a $350 magazine that you would read, right?
It was, yeah.
So I remember reading this thing, and we were talking to him about, he had a contract, I think it was around 98. He had a contract that he was negotiating for or just signed, something along those lines. And he, I guess, talked to this reporter, and they laid out that he took less money because I think he was syndicated too out of that Tampa station. He took less money for complete ownership of his entire catalog and everything going forward. So he would have ownership of his show and the content and could license and do what he wants with it, whatever.
Smart.
But taking less money, but still signing a contract and doing whatever it was with his agreements were with Clear Channel until the boar killing incident that he had live on the air where they fired him. But that always stuck with me. I was like, sometimes it's not always about making the most money. It's about getting the ownership of thing. And this is the late 90s.
Dude, I'm glad you're lucky you learned that early, because I tell you, that's when I was signing my biggest contract with the Monsters was the late 90s. And it was us when at our peak, when it was like our show we were selling out Hard Rock, and it was the 7 of us, and we were all like friends at the same time signing a contract together. Well, we didn't know our ass from third base. We had an agent from the NFL who didn't know anything about broadcasting. And so we were taking, I think at the time, oh no, that's when it was. It was like late 90s. We were taking over for Howard. It was like a big deal, And anyway, we didn't do any of that. They were like, you want this big bonus? We're like, hey, we want that bonus. Like, well, you don't know the name, do you? Like, no, we don't know name. Give us that check. And yeah, I think, I'm sure when you consult people, like systems in place, standards of practices, ritualistic programming, and things that you can own and keep and catalog, that is worth its weight in gold as you build your what you're building, And so that's that's a great thing to learn in the late 90s, man, because I really did not learn that till later.
That thing was that I didn't really realize till later on that I learned that. I read it, I remembered it. And then as things were going forward, and when we were allowed to come back to radio in 2004, we got fired for a couple having sex in St. Patrick's Cathedral, and Clear Channel wanted to sign the show to go on mornings in New York against Howard. Infinity and Mel Karmazin didn't want to do that. They had to let us go, but they still honored the contract. So Ope and Ant were still being paid. Everybody else wasn't, but it was paid. So I was down in Florida working until Ope told me that the XM thing was going to happen, and we met up and talked and made that deal and what have you. I didn't know that I knew that information until going forward, till after I think our first year at XM, when we had to renegotiate some things. And then I kept trying. I've said this story a million times, but I've tried for years I begged O&A. I'm like, get the rights to your stuff. Yeah. Our agent at the time, he was no longer with us, Bob Eatman, and I kept talking with CBS and other things. And Bob got it down to like what would be considered pennies, for them. And they just wouldn't pull the trigger to buy the things. And then luckily, because of a lot of legal confusion and loopholes, their whole archive sitting in my in my room over there. I have everything. But that was just always something I remember. It's like, get ownership. It's like, if you got a deal to pay your bills, great. What's the next stage? I want to own everything. Okay. After that, any money, any other perks is just, a blessing on top of all of that stuff.
I agree. And Howard, I think, was the first one. And really, if you want to go back to the truest of it all, is Desi Arnaz and literal, repeats and creating that whole kind of idea of it all. But you mentioned something about Howard earlier. Some news on Howard. What is it?
So this article came out from the Sun, which, if you're not aware, is a British tabloid. It's
highly reputable,
right? Did an article about how Sirius is not but they even said it too. The rumors, or what they're hearing, is that Sirius is not looking to renew Howard's agreement at the end of the year. Now, nothing in there was fact, but also nothing of there was confirmed either. They just said, no, our sources or somebody inside told us this. All speculation. Yeah. And a lot of the speculation that they put on there has been stuff Howard has said since January of this year. This has been the one time that I can remember. I mean, I don't know how long, if you've ever listened to Howard, but
I did. I used to be a hardcore Howard. I mean, obviously, I used to literally listen to him before we were waiting to go on the air. Then we took him over, and I know I was a pretty hardcore listener, even into his Sirius XM days. I would say probably maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I just totally stopped listening.
Right.
Yeah.
But Howard, around his contract time, would always say he doesn't know if he wants to continue. You knew the whole spiel. It would just stretch out forever. And then all of a sudden he had announced a multi-million dollar deal. This is the first time around where it's been reversed, where he's saying, he's like, we've been trying to talk, because his agent passed away, I think last year or 2 years ago. Don Buchwald's gone.
Yeah, Buchwald, yeah.
Buchwald was the guy that ran everything for Howard. So even though his organization is still representing Howard, Don's not there. So who knows where this is going. But Howard said in January, like, he was getting annoyed because they just signed Alex Cooper and her Call Her Daddy podcast for a ton of money.
A lot.
And it looked like they were trying to make her the new face of the company to try to get a younger audience and what have you.
Yeah.
Then there were clips going around over the last couple of months that when people would ask if he was going to resign, he said he doesn't know. The company won't talk to him, or he hasn't heard from the company about even like, he never says that. It's always on his end, like, I don't know if I want to do it. He never admitted that the company hasn't gotten back to him on this stuff. So that's been interesting. This article.
What do you think?
Honestly, where's he going to go? And I'm not saying for lack of talent, but look what happened.
I don't think they're going to sign him. I don't think Sirius has the money. I don't think they want to sign him. I think they're going to go, hey, we'll do it. He's going to want a gigantic bonus, bro. He's going to want some massive deal. And they're going to go, what new people are you bringing to us? Alex Cooper's bringing us new people every day.
Right.
You literally are not. And Howard could go, oh, shit, I already have it. Like literally what we were talking about.
They just signed Stephen A. Smith away from ESPN.
That makes sense.
From their radio network stuff there.
Yeah.
He's starting in September.
That makes sense.
He's doing stuff with their NFL channel and then his own thing there too. They've got that, and they've had, we've talked about for the last couple of years, they've been in the era of $100 million contracts. They have that Smartless podcast with Jason Bateman and Will Arnett. They have...
I don't understand that.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I love those. I worked with Jason Bateman. He's a great, awesome dude. I literally love him to death.
But I think they got it after their peak. I think their peak was when they had Obama and Biden at the Radio City Music Hall thing. Mm-hmm. But you're right. Since then... I'm not saying they're not successful. There's no buzz. You don't hear anything about them, right?
I think in general, the whole fire of majority, it's just like any other cycle. Mm-hmm. It has its peak. And then the people that stick with it and are consistent are going to do well. But like, we're not going to have another podcast bubble. You know what I'm saying? It's just now it's its thing. And the next thing is going to be, but that's really interesting as far as Stephen A. and Alex Cooper. My wife loves Alex Cooper. I watched the documentary on her. I think she's cool. I like that. She's kind of real. She connects with a massive amount of people, and she is like a Howard version. There's no doubt that she represents kind of what Howard represented to a lot of men in a weird way. Way more than Rogan, I would say. I don't think that's a great parallel that people try and do. I don't.
No, because he's the top of the food chain at the time being, so that you always got to be compared to who's the number one spot.
True.
And then you go, well, he's like this. It's like, no, they're really not anything like that. Other than they both have $100 million deals. There's nothing else that's similar to them. The other thing too is they made a new deal or something with Andy Cohen. Like they use Andy Cohen a lot as another face for that. And I think recently he just said he's annoyed by what they're doing with Andy Cohen. So Howard, I think, starting to feel the fact that you're not bulletproof anymore, despite the fact that he brings all these celebrities in. And that might be the value to Sirius, is that he brings in celebrities to that building that don't normally or wouldn't normally come there to do anything, right?
But Eric, I think that was something that mattered years ago. I don't think that matters anymore. Man, I think the age of celebrity. I know what you're saying. I know, like,
not to us, to companies. Companies still think that way. Celebrity means whatever. iHeart still signs tons of celebrities to podcasts. Jordan was around that time. Remember when we were? There was a weird period of time where Paris Hilton was calling out us and David Letterman for being abusive during her interviews like a decade ago. And we're coming after us and coming after Dave and how Dave's a terrible person. I think those clips go up and go, she was in prime Paris Hilton mode. She wouldn't talk. She was being a brat. Everyone's trying to pull stuff out of her. So they're making fun of her or taking jabs at her. You're picking on a young girl. No, she's being like an asshole. So it happens. But during that time, like, it was a weird window of time. And then all of a sudden, that week on our show, goes out on iHeart, the commercials are running for her podcast that they just signed. Right? She did a handful of episodes.
Anytime those popped up, I would listen to them. Like, have you ever wanted to hear what an Indian person, a Muslim person, a Christian person, and a trans person all have to say about space? Here it is. The
Kind of, yeah. Now I do.
Podcast.
Yeah.
What the? Every podcast is like another bullshit. Like,
And it's just the one host doing all the voices. It's really.
Yeah, they had a whole Phil Hendry thing happening.
Yes. Yes.
But no, well, like she would come on, and this was the problem because, like I'm saying, the company still thinks celebrity means relevance and importance. They started doing seasons as their podcast. Now, you do seasons for true crime where you have to have research and production and NPR, those kind of things need seasons. They can't just go on every week.
Right.
Celebrities can. You can talk about your projects. You can talk with other celebrities. You can talk about your lives. People love hearing, or maybe not so much anymore, but younger people on TikTok love hearing and watching about celebrities' lives. You can't do 6 episodes, 8 episodes, and then say, well, Paris will be back for season 2 in 3 months. That audience is gone.
Yeah.
Then she comes back the second season, nobody listened to it, and that deal went away. Like, that's the mentality of these companies with the celebrities. So back to Howard, he brings those people into the building. They can piggyback off that, and they could do a couple of other shows after they're done with Howard. That's a value to them. Too, it's been said about the tapes and his archives and stuff. It's always been discussed that like 101 would go away and Howard 100 would become an archive channel when he's done, and he could pop in to do specials and things now and then, but that would be the deal. So that might be at the point now where they go. They make the deal for the archives and Howard doesn't continue. I don't know. We don't know. Where this gets to the real crux of all of this is that article was all speculation, and everyone's taking the Sun
every word of it
as gospel. Now, if it was something a bit more credible, and it doesn't matter your political leanings, but as far as like legalese stuff goes, if it was the New York Times, the Washington Post, something like that, all of that, Newsmax, if something like that, to put it out there and said, hey, this is what we're hearing, you would be a bit more convinced to believe their sources for some of this stuff than the Sun, or the Daily Mirror or something like that. Then people repurposed those articles. They changed the headline and it said, Howard Stern, Sirius cancels the Howard Stern show. No, they didn't. They didn't even say the show is over. It's not like the Colbert thing.
They got you to click. That's what they wanted, Eric. They just want that little clicky click. They got you. The rage bait is everything now, man. Rage bait is like the king of rage bait is the president of the United States. And he knows how to use it. Now everybody knows how to use rage bait. The old term, any publicity is bad publicity is good publicity. What's that old term, right?
Any publicity is good publicity.
Right?
Yeah.
That's rage bait.
Yep.
That's what we have now. We have this society that lives and breathes off of controversy and attention. It's an attention economy that breeds controversy, and I just think stuff like this is like Howard and Baba. It's like, Howard can do whatever he's a freaking billionaire. Last time I checked, he could give a shit about anybody other than himself.
He takes the entire summer off.
Okay, so I could give two shits at this point what Howard does. I'm interested a little bit, but ultimately I care more. I feel bad for Richard and Sal, who every single freaking time have to sit back, and I don't know Richard well, and anyway, I look at it like probably how you look at these show situations, probably you too, Jordan. But there's so much in the background, and we know the people, and it's clunky, and it's never that great. So Howard should probably go do his own thing, and get
Howard will be fine no matter what he does. You're right. I got annoyed by the fact that it was a non-credible source that people changed the headline to canceled, and then everybody online is now going after and shitting on Howard, all this stuff here. Good, fuck him, fired. Just same thing like when Colbert got announced that his show was ending.
What are your thoughts on that? Because quite honestly, there's so many takes on it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it was such a bellwether thing for me doing a show. I was like, oh my gosh. Talk shows are kind of dead.
I knew that for a long time. Yeah.
Traditional talk shows in that sense with a gigantic inflated budget. We used to look at them and watch them and get those little highlights of the celebrities, because we didn't see the celebrities. We didn't know what was going on. And we get them in little chunks. And man, it's just like you look at what they're doing. Everything they do is made to go online to get attention to watch the show. So it's like, and every episode costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. The ad revenue is not there because we know what the AEs are doing, sitting back going like, we can't sell anything. Nobody's watching this. Nobody's getting the return.
Oh, I love that. It's like, we don't know how to sell. How did you sell it for the last 100 years? How do you not know how to sell a car show? How do you not know to sell our live event? Get a banner, get a beer company, get something.
So you got, and that's another thing, Eric, to do your own thing, you got to have that hustle. If you don't know how to sell and you're trying to have your own company and you want to have sponsors and you want to have people that come on board.
Yeah, you got to do the sales now.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
Jordan, the old adage with radio is that the programming floor and the sales floor only meet through the GM for meetings. Programming will tell sales what's available. Sales will get whoever, but sales does not dictate programming. And then all of a sudden that went out the window. It goes, nope, sales controls all of programming. Once you started seeing, local car dealerships on the mic arm,
thank you,
for that stuff from the Dunkin' Donuts, Baskin Robbins studio, that kind of stuff.
Jordan, ready? From the Dunkin' Donuts studio with the Baskin Robbins mic here in the David Nissan Toyota room.
Yeah,
you have they couldn't.
I remember that shift.
Oh, it's gross.
Joining us now on the Subway Footlong hotline, please say hello to Adam Sandler here talking about Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix.
Look, we all got to sell.
All about synergy, Eric.
oh, okay. And I heard you guys, I think, talking about this too when I caught you guys the other day. Look, we all got to sell soap. We got to sell soap. We got to make money, right? But we all know where that balance is, right? Where you're just this sucking on that teat of just what corporation's going to give us the bigger check? What law firm? What doctor's office? What car dealership do we have to do a segment about? It's just gross at a certain point when Jordan, there's 15 segments in a 5-hour show. We used to do a 5-hour show. They would try and sell, 9, 10 of them. Billy Bob's Barbecue Bonanza. Yeah, well, you want to do a trivia? Do it. Let's find it. They're going to give us a check. They don't give. They called everybody influencers. Broadcasters are dead. I took issue with that.
Where are my endorsements? That was the other thing. It's like you need to go out and get your own endorsements. No, you don't need to get me $500 to stand at a sunglass hut for 2 hours on a Saturday to promote this thing with the party prize patrol and the pop-up tent. That's my endorsement. I don't need to go out there and make my own personal branding deals to go on a show that you want now a cut of that.
So Eric, I see you wearing. We can do this, folks. If you're watching, we're radio dudes. We're gonna bitch some stuff up, okay? Just we said we were gonna do this when we talked through email, Jordan. Okay.
I was gonna say a minute ago you were like, we used to do 5-hour shows. I was like, you apparently don't listen enough to me and Eric. We stretched this out for like 4 hours
with one break for a bathroom and just because the iHeart show has to have separations in it to put their dynamic insertions for the ads and all that.
So let me. Because we'll keep talking, and I want to kind of tell you this because I think you'll find it interesting, especially after getting let go. So after I got let go, I was already still speaking, acting, but as you know, the entertainment industry is very slow right now. So
we covered you on Hawkeye when you showed up as the Tracksuit Mafia. I was like, Jordan, I know that guy.
Yeah, man.
I'm like,
that was great.
Yeah,
4 episodes, shot for 6 months.
Did you keep the velvet suit?
No, because I was supposed to have reshoots, and then we didn't go back for reshoots. I was so pissed. So anyway, afterwards, I was like, all right, well, what am I gonna do? Let me check out. You know what? Let me start making my own show. Okay, and so I kind of made like a 30-minute. I didn't want to do a regular show, and very quickly I realized, okay, that is gonna be very expensive. I had a studio, I had all this stuff. I'm like, that's just not gonna work out. I was trying to mix a sitcom and a talk show. It's kind of cool, but it couldn't sustain it, right? Mm-hmm. And then right at that time, Fox called. And Fox was like, hey, Carlos, we'd like to talk to you. And it was the Fox 35 here. And they said, hey, we'd like to do the Carlos Navarro show. Would you like to do that for us? And to put it on our on-demand TV. And I was like, All right,
Wow.
cool. And they were cool. Yeah. And they wanted to do an episode run. And so I started shooting with them. And I was simultaneously shooting the Fox show and my new show. Well, guess what happened, guys? I started shooting the very first episode of this mixture sitcom talk show. And I started doing my characters. I'm like, oh, that character voice has a little bit too much. We can't play that music. And in the middle of a set shooting that day, I was just like, before the first episode ever came out, I was like, we ain't doing this, guys. Why am I going to do this again to myself? Why am I going to give every bit of art, every creativity, every event that they're still doing to this day that I thought of away so they can keep it? And you know what I said? And they were also very awesome and cool. Like Fox was mad cool. There was no beef. And now I got my own thing. And now I'm building my own thing. I don't have to cut the check to anybody else. I make my money. I keep all my shit. And I can act. Nobody's busting my balls. And that's where I'm at, Poppy. That's where I'm at.
I'll tell you why people think that. One, because we've always been taught that you need to have a full-time job. Two, health insurance, because that's a big fear. And then three, if you're married and have kids, now that's on top of you. So it's like, well, I can't really tell them to fuck off like I used to, because now I got a kid to take care of.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, now I got to bite my tongue.
I get it. No, and so the reason I thought of that was a Savannah Bananas shirt. So Savannah Bananas called me afterwards too. And they were like, can
you do a backflip?
I cannot do. I'm terrified of doing a backflip. It's like, I love all that other stuff, but the announcer knew me and he contacted. So Jesse, the owner, hits me up. He sees my stuff. He loved Hawkeye, all these different things. And man, we were talking and working together for a couple months to be one of kind of this new position for him. But ultimately it just didn't work out. He is exactly what you see. The travel was a little bit too much for me and everything I was doing and some other things, but they're killing it, man. So it's like a lot of things have happened. And like right now, I'm waiting on a couple TV shows that look like they're going to work out. But you got to have a bunch of irons in the fire if you're trying to succeed in entertainment.
Yeah.
I try and tell people, think of Sammy Davis Jr., think of freaking Desi Arnett. I know I already mentioned him. It's kind of weird that I mentioned Price, but but as far as old school entertainers, they had to sing, they had to know how to write, they know how to act. In this day and age, you better know how to broadcast, you better know how to edit, you better know some software, you better know some social media. Who's just hiring a broadcaster? I tell this to my actors who are learning. Who's just going to hire an actor these days? That's the last thing people need to worry about. You got to know all this.
Unfortunately, that also describes everybody that was successful in radio when they left. They don't know how to edit their stuff. They don't know how to do video things. It's like, well, you got to get on TikTok. Well, I'm not going to do that. Then you're dead in the water. I know you're old, but there's places for older people on there.
Right.
You got to learn how to do all of this stuff.
Yeah,
or even when
100%.
COVID hit, when everyone had to go remote, a lot of those people just didn't know what to do when they were trying to set up and be ready to do everything from the house.
Yeah.
It's people are really, especially in that. It's not just radio, like any industry, man. Especially you get to a point where you're just ritualistic. You're doing the same shit over and over. You kind of got to have you got to always be trying to learn, man. If you sit back and you say, "Oh, I'm done. I've been in this business for 20 years."
That's not how we used to do it. Yeah, I know that's not how you used to do it. You're not allowed to do it that way anymore.
You're literally not allowed.
You cannot say the things that you said when you started your career there. You can't do that anymore.
I do wonder though with some of those dinosaurs, and we know who we're talking about. The hosts that. They literally, I just sit back and I go, and they don't know anything. They don't know how to post on social media. They don't know. They sit back. They have assistants. I just genuinely go, man, because it's just a slow march of the chopping block. And if nobody can see that these companies are dying on the vine, please tell me, where are they making their money from?
That's all right. It's interesting you brought that up because we've talked about on this program here, the last couple years, end of 23, the end of 24, were big bloodbaths for, I'll just say iHeart and SiriusXM.
Sure.
And then when they cut all this stuff, you go, there's nobody left to run those channels. There's nobody left to produce these things. You got rid of they're like, we have record profits this year. What about next year? Oh, that's next year. But this year we're ending strong. The shareholders are going to be happy. But it's like cutting the roots of a tree. That thing ain't going to grow next year. It's going to die. And then what are you going to do when all this money comes out? the beginning of this year, SiriusXM had their shareholders or whatever meeting. It was one of those public meetings you could dial in and listen to. And they had to say, we have to reverse our predictions. We are not looking to make a profit this year. They stopped focusing, and it's all there. You know who loves fucking reporting on SiriusXM and all their failures? Sure. Rolling Stone magazine. I don't know what they did to piss off Rolling Stone, but every time something bad happens at Sirius, Rolling Stone's got that article all about it.
Quick to get that posted.
They had to announce that there's we're going to be looking at probably a lot of layoffs. They had a lot of layoffs. They said we're no longer going to be pushing their video promotion, which they were trying to get all their video stuff self-contained on their app instead of like on YouTube or whatever, right?
It was clunky as shit,
right?
When you tried to mess with it,
so
too, I remember.
It's like, well, we're not really going to be focusing on pushing video as much anymore. Pandora is dead in the water, which was sad because they were the leader and the innovator of streaming stuff.
Dude, you turned on that Pandora, you were like, it had your vibe. That was the first.
You know where I learned about it? Women had it on in their office spaces, and they're like, I can listen to my country music. I'm listening to this. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, it plays a couple of commercials, and then you can pick any. That's where I learned it. Is girls in my life that were telling me they had it on in their office, and then
simple. Yeah, Eric, Jordan, how simple. Can we go back to 2007 when we'd hit the Pandora, and it was like, you won't believe it. I hadn't heard this song since '94.
Wow moments. Yeah.
That's gone now.
Yeah, it's all gone.
That makes me sad. I've come home with my wife. I'd be like, this Pandora station? Holy shit. Will.i.am followed up by a little Britney? Who would have thought it?
Yeah.
You know? No, I'm with you on that. We're getting old, man. We can now see these cycles and these timelines. But no, they're not making money, man.
Well, they posted like an 8% loss. They laid off a bunch of people in March, and then they're like, well, we're going to refocus on new subscribers within cars. Everyone, we're trying to.
That was what I wanted to wrap that thing up. They said we're going back to supporting our core base of subscribers, and that is the people who subscribe in the car. And you went, wait, what?
Who subscribes in the car?
Every new car has either the app built in or you can download into the dashboard or has the auto connect for your phone. You don't need that old radio module there anymore to have the Sirius subscription.
Well, you know this, dude.
They also had to admit they had no, and I'm not kidding, you can look it up. They had no subscribers under 35. None. And they spent tons of money. They have a TikTok radio station. The Hits 1 is supposed to be towards the kid stuff. It's the channel kids will say, "Oh, that's the channel my mom listens to."
Oh yeah, my daughter says that. My daughter straight up goes, "Sirius is for old people."
Yeah,
like straight up says it.
Yeah,
I was like,
all of that. So your audience has died off, and you're going to cut them down even more to the older people who listen only in the car.
Damn, man.
Here's something else that you don't know about, that nobody knows about.
Please.
I still know a few people over there. They had a meeting a few weeks ago, like a little town hall thing internally. It's not good when you welcome everybody in there and the first thing that comes up, it would normally be a question that the employees would ask if they're concerned about something with the company. And they said, just to let you know, we're not ruling out that there will be more layoffs before the end of the year. Then went into everything else. They opened with that.
It's gross, man.
Yeah.
You know why, Eric? Because they're so insular. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's not nepotism in the sense of like family, whatever. But they never get new blood. It's like one AE rises to the top who's able to get the quarter revenue up to a revenue, and then that one bottoms out. Then another business person comes up. Then on an old rate, it's never any fresh new blood. And ultimately, the problem with all these piece of S corporations who are vultures, the boss makes the money off of the percentage of the stock share.
Yeah.
So whenever you have anybody making money off of the percentage of a stock share and doesn't care about the customers, where do you think their effort is going to go? That's why every major CEO sucks, other than the Red Lobster guy. Let's be honest. That dude brought back the biscuits. He's the man.
Oh, see, if you would have listened, Eric is very against the biscuits, which
No!
drew the
I'm not a
ire of
fan.
a lot of people.
But I'm not.
I like.
I'm not saying nobody's allowed to have it. If you enjoy it, that's fine. I don't. I think they're overrated and overhyped, and I don't care about the damn biscuits because everybody says, "Well, Red Lobster, the biscuits." All right, what about the lobster? What about the shrimp? Oh yeah, the shrimp scampi is like eating a salt lick. It's terrible. Yeah, I understand, but you can't just survive on the biscuits alone. That's like I only go to Olive Garden for the breadsticks, and that's it. You know.
Yeah, the soup and salad combo. Yeah.
No, you saw
That is good.
So no, look, guys, I get fired up about again. I'm a small business guy. I work with a lot. Literally, my company. I work with 19 small businesses, all different things. I create cool stuff with them with my studios. Hi, and truly, I just think if you look at the world right now, man, look at what's happened to our art. Look at what's happened to our art, our movies.
Mm-hmm.
You think they'd ever make an Indiana Jones now? Not the remakes with every freaking one. I'm talking about somebody coming to the table and going, all right, it's this archaeologist. You know, he's got some things going on, but he's really a good dude. He goes out. I'm like, no, who's connected to it? What's the IP? How are we going to turn it into Transformers? You know, and
we need to get Logan Paul as Indiana Jones. It's like, why can't we go with an unknown and build it from the ground up?
It's so gross. The Happy Gilmore 2 movie is just a meme. It's like a giant YouTube video. What the hell? Where are we making movies still? And where are we just making content filler bullshit?
Well,
because that's, you know.
For the most part, I agree with you, except that, and we'll go into my review of this in segment 2. I saw The Naked Gun.
What did you think?
It's fucking hilarious.
Oh, good. I auditioned for it 3 times and I didn't book it. So
I'm sorry I didn't see you in it. But it harkens back to that old style of movie making, like you're talking about. Like, it's not like just pushing a product. It's not just doing this. It's not product placement. It's just old school, fun comedy, weird innuendos.
Good.
It embodied the same Leslie Nielsen feel of it without feeling like if it was overdone. It was actually very surprising. I was the biggest detractor from wanting to watch this movie, and when I finally watched it, I was like, all right, they did what they should have done.
I'm glad to hear that, Jordan.
It was good.
Yeah, like I said, when I audition for movies and I book them, I tend to have this little bias thing towards them. I won't watch. I did it for Walking Dead for many years, but then I ended up booking it. But you know what's funny is I think we're past. I think the wave has kind of crested a little bit with that whole idea, and I think we're in this zone now where people are allowed to know, okay, this is comedy. This is everything doesn't have an agenda. We got to get away from corporations creating agenda-based films to push a product or something to play upon those people. You know what I'm saying? I think that has kind of proven itself. It's like, you know what? We need to look at Sinners. Look how good Sinners was. Mm-hmm. And how it mixed genres and how he wasn't, you talked to Ryan Coogler and he wasn't like, yeah, I was trying to push this message and I was trying. No, yeah, there was elements of that. Yeah, I kind of did that. But as a true director, you should never be sitting there telling people this is exactly what you should feel or whatever. So, you know, so I think that's why I'm glad it made almost the most amount of money.
Also, they had all the Blade costumes and everything. So that's why it looked fantastic.
That is so cool. I love that little tidbit about it.
It also kind of bums me out because it's like now they're not even going to do that version of Blade anymore, and it's like, I would have loved to see that. But then
did
again,
you guys see Fantastic Four? Did you guys see that? Yeah, what'd y'all think?
I like that it was pretty much self-contained. It wasn't a million characters showing up there. I'm curious to the John Malkovich scene that they cut. I don't see how that would have been bad, but I'm waiting for.
What was the Malkovich scene that they cut?
So he plays
a character called
Red Ghost.
And they did this big montage at the beginning, kind of just giving you the quick hits of the Fantastic Four, and then they talked about Red Ghost, they talked about Mole Man, they talked about all these Fantastic Four characters without really spending time on them.
They were on a balcony and they looked out over New York and just talked about areas as if you were saying, well, Hell's Kitchen, that's, Daredevil's fighting with Why do I keep calling him Pinhead?
It's Pinhead. Yes, exactly.
We'll call him Pinhead. But you see what I'm saying? Spider-Man's downtown doing this, whatever. Luke Cage up in Harlem. They were talking about their characters and where they are in New York. So they're there. They talk about them, but you don't need to show all these, this whole rogues gallery in the very first movie. Yeah. So in that way, it was pretty well done. There was other little things here and there, but
I got to
overall,
see it.
it was an entertaining movie.
Yeah, I got that. I was on a family Disney cruise, and they have them playing opening weekend. I was like, oh, hell
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so I
Oh.
got to see it on the ship.
They're like, you're on a boat. Who are you going to tell?
Exactly.
Do they make
And
you pay for the movie while you paid
No,
for the
dude.
cruise? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
No, they make you pay for the popcorn, though.
Yeah, that I know. Did they have the popcorn buckets? Did they have the $80 Galactus thing?
We bring our own, baby. We bring our own. You know, I'm in the MCU, man. I love I'm fighting for the MCU. I want us to come back. Obviously, I want me to show up in some gigantic Civil War kind of scene where
Look,
they're like, "Oh, the bros are here."
Hey, they're going to be closing the multiverse and timelines and things. You could show up in Secret Wars for no reason. It's like, why is the tracksuit guy there with Thor? I don't know. It's just something's
They pull
happening.
up, van opens up, they jump out the back, they see this big battle, they're like, no. We're not.
Imagine your
You get
thing.
the back of the van, you get just fuck out.
Dude,
Major
I'm telling
cameo.
you, when we were shooting that on set, we had delusions of grandeur of where that was before the MCU had kind of, you know, we were I was on set talking to Kevin Feige about WandaVision, about how much it was the third episode. I'm on set talking to Feige about Feige, like we're boys. You know, me and Feige.
Oh, me, Kev, just chilling.
He was at the set 3 a.m. with his hat on, watching. You guys are hilarious. Love you guys. Wearing a Hawkeye hat. It was like straight out of a movie. And I was like, man, I love WandaVision. He's like, I'm so glad you like it. And literally like this. We're really hoping people like it too. They didn't have a grand plan.
Yeah.
It was like, and remember that log jam that we hit with COVID, you know, and then the Black Widow coming out and all that. It's like everything that kind of could have gone wrong, plus the message, agenda, all these kind of things hitting it at the same time. It's kind of like I feel like that has gone zoom, like we're kind of like at base level, not only writing wise, not connecting to the multiverse. The film was great. It was fun. My daughter loved it. She got back into it. She was watching the whole universe when I was on the show, and she actually ended Endgame and then started watching Hawkeye. It was really fun and cool. And so my point is, here's what I worry. They did everything right. The movie's great. It hit. It didn't but it didn't have that lasting set. That second weekend, we were going to find out if it would have gone 40% drop. But I think Disney Plus ultimately is hurting anything Star Wars Marvel wise for a longer run.
I think it goes even further than that. It's just that no matter what the studios do, doesn't matter the company, there is so much bad faith and distrust by the movie-going audience that even if they are course correcting or they do the right thing in this particular movie or whatever, the damage has kind of been done, and you have to wait, kind of have to write it out. The days of those billion-dollar movies where everything isn't happening, and they're like, why isn't this because the audience doesn't want it to be $1 billion. They may like it. I loved Thunderbolts. They keep saying it's a failure because it didn't hit whatever, but it made like $800 million.
No, it didn't, dude. It did not. It did not make it back. It literally made like, I think 350, maybe 4. I think F1 is up there, but no, Thunderbolts. You know why? Because that was still the old budgets. They cannot make movies.
You're right,
that are
$382 million.
Yeah, they cannot make movies over $100 million budget, and then they have to keep their marketing budget at around 25.
That's the other thing, because the movie budget itself is one thing, and then they tack on, well, what was the movie budget? All right, we need to double that. Yeah. Like that was the equation for the marketing, and like
it kind of worked. And Fantastic Four wasn't a huge budget. Thunderbolts was. That's why it didn't make money. Captain America was even worse than that because it was reshot and they had to add the red. They had to do so much, right?
They were adding characters like a month before the release.
Well, let me tell. When I shot The Outsider, the Stephen King show with Jason Bateman, I'm on set. I was working with I'm gonna mess up his name. It's Cynthia Rivero, and he plays the Skrull. Gosh, why Sam Mendelsohn. And he is amazing. So freaking cool, right? And he talks like this. He talks to Mild Minute. He's like, Dottie. He calls the director Dottie, and we're shooting our scene. And he's like, da, 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 da. All right, now it's time to do the scene. And I'm talking to him, and I'm geeking out because this is just when Miss Marvel was coming out, okay? Or Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was coming out. And I go, dude, I'm a big MCU fan. He goes, oh, bloody, we just shot some stuff for it the other day. It was crazy. We shot some stuff. It was the end scene to Captain Marvel, where they're driving off in the car, and Captain Marvel was coming out like 2 weeks later. Like, and dude, when we would get to set, and I'm not talking out of school here, we get to set, we'd be days, just me and the bros and everybody just chilling because they didn't know what they were shooting.
Right.
You know, they had action scenes, and this is what Jeremy and everybody said, hey, don't worry. This is how they do things. This is how they do things. I'm like, look, I'm just happy to be here. I don't give a shit what you do. You keep me here all day. So it's really interesting. They've really had to figure out their shit on many levels.
Yeah. I mean, it's I think the days of the high paid like superstar are starting to really hurt filmmaking. So you're going to see all these, like, I mean, Gittles today, he told me he went and saw Weapons, said it was fantastic. Low budget, Zach Krieger movie. It's going to make money and it's going to do well because it was low budget, has maybe 2 actors that you would know, and everybody else is
interesting.
on nobody.
And the trailer's creepy. That one scene where it's like you see the street, but there's only a light reflecting on the street from the distance, and that kid's walking really weird across. I'm like, I don't know what the rest of this is, but that freaked me out. I'm going to see that.
Well, let me ask you fellas this. Let me ask you this. I think the other thing that was missing from Fantastic Four that Superman had.
Batman?
What's that?
Was it Batman?
No. Ready? No. And maybe it's not like I'm a giant TikTok guy, but they had a TikTok moment. They had that Superman thing where people were coming home and they were like, "Yeah, I feel re-energized because of Superman." You know, there was like that wake of that lasted maybe a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? It had a moment. You cannot succeed in making a movie if it's not a full-blown multimedia experience these days. You can't.
Sure.
Look at freaking Minecraft. What took that over the edge was the memes and the chicken jockey, and the social media.
Kids running around, ruining the theaters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it was dominating the news cycles since it came out, and then they re-released it with all the sing-along portions, encouraging people to do the dumb shit that they were telling everyone not to do.
Yeah,
they capitalized on that a lot.
Fantastic Four didn't have that.
No,
there was nothing that it was good. Everybody liked it, but it's just we are living in this pseudo 1970s film studio situation. They've crumbled. They're going to let the artist, the De Palmas.
So you're saying it was too tame for the internet crowd?
No, I just think there wasn't something that connected them like it did with Superman. The reason Superman is going to make more money and going to end up definitely beating it, and it's continuing money, is because it caught a feeling, it caught a vibe. And I agree with everything you were saying before too, Eric, of like there's a lot of ill will with like the audience and they haven't come around. We're first adapters, we're seeing all the news. We're most people are kind of catching up usually with us because we're just like hungry for this stuff. And I also think Disney Plus, man, I think that they know how bad that killed their business. They know that. We were all looking at it like, hell yeah, shows all the time. But I think it's like that. If you were looking at it parallel to maybe a situation, I think streaming overall is what we felt when House of Cards first came up and we could watch the whole thing. And we're like, hell yeah. And then years later, you realize, oh, we will forget about a show in 2 days.
By Monday. Yeah, it comes out on a Friday. And here's the other thing with that, right? So we used to goof about this too. It's a couple of things. One is Friday the movie comes out in the theater, right? And you're seeing IGN, Nerdist, what the ending means. What's this? God. It's like, it's 6 a.m. on Friday. The movie's not open to everybody else. And they're already explaining. It's like, what that big spoiler means for the future. It's like,
you're right.
Stop. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen the movie yet. It just opened. The other thing.
You'll have like top 10 characters you missed in this. And
it's like here's all the Easter eggs, right?
You're like, no one's seen it. What do you mean I missed every character? What are you putting this video?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
the other thing with the streaming is that episode, it's like it comes out on Friday. So, because of the time zone things, people in California will have watched the entire season before it's 6 a.m., 8 a.m. on the East Coast. And you see already people saying, it's like, when's the next season coming out? It's like, I already watched everything. I go, that's your fault. that you watched 1 hours plus episodes in a row, and you're like, well, what am I supposed to watch now? I already watched everything. That is your fault.
Well, they're not doing it anymore, obviously. So
No.
the last Stranger Things.
It's weird that they regressed a little bit, and people adapted to the fact that either some shows have to come out weekly like old television, or the thing that they've been doing now, like they're doing with Wednesday with King of the Hill. Sandman was another show on Netflix that I love. The Sandman. Season 2, Part 1. Here's the first 6 episodes.
Yep.
Part 2, the last 6 to 7 episodes will come out 3 weeks later.
I like that.
And it does well. So as long as it's not out all at once for everyone to binge, it's spacing it out a little bit seems to generate the talk again.
It's splitting the difference. Like what you just said, I'm like listening. I'm like, oh, wow, that's like old school and new school. It kind of splits the difference of the programming schedule.
Well, yeah, they've lost by binging it too quickly. You've lost that water cooler talk that you used to have when you'd go to work and be like, hey, did you see that show that we all watched, and then we talk about it. I'm going to date us, Carlos. Jordan and I, like Sunday nights, you watch The Simpsons. Monday in homeroom, you're talking about the gag or the song or something they did on The Simpsons. You don't have that anymore.
But I don't give a damn. 90s kids, we had it made, bro. We beat the internet. We didn't have to worry about shit. We didn't have to worry about camera. We were happier. I'm sorry, guys. Whoever's watching this that wasn't growing up in 80s was too hardcore. And we're right in the middle. I born in the 80s, raised in the 90s. That's what I like to say. And we had The Simpsons. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Jordan, I'm sorry. Finish what you were saying.
I was just gonna say we lost that water cooler talk where we can't really have that. Let's watch it next week. I mean, Lost was like that. Every week there was something happened with Lost, and people would talk about it. A lot of these streamers, but the problem is that no one's consistent. Netflix does maybe 2 parts or everything. Disney's starting to do the weekly model, sometimes Tuesdays, sometimes Thursdays. You don't know what day it's going to be. It could be 6 p.m. West Coast time. It could be at midnight. So we've lost consistency, but yeah, you're right. They're splitting the difference with some of these bigger properties that they know that if they put it out now, you're going to get a week of talk, and then they're waiting for the next thing. I mean, they did that with 1899. They put out a good show, but they also put it out with another show that people binged at the same time, and then we lost the second season of a show that was actually good
that we loved. Yeah,
have watched.
But I don't know. You guys seem like the kind of guys that do what I do too. And you know what I do when I sit down with my food? I got my sandwich. I want to. Man, obviously Simpsons. I think we can all agree. But it's another one that's you just hit it. You don't have to go to anyone. Sopranos. Sopranos still holds up.
It does, but I live up here and I know a lot of the locations are wrong. So when I see this, it's like there's a scene where this bakery is here. It's like that bakery's not there. I know where that thing is. That house doesn't exist. Yeah,
funny.
That takes me out of a lot of it because I know the area all around where a lot of this stuff is shot, and then I go, okay, that's the right area. That place doesn't exist.
That's cool though.
Satrielli's is a parking lot now. Like the pork store is gone.
Oh my! I would have never guessed. I mean, obviously, I knew you lived up, there, but that's really cool because I live in Florida, so we don't have a lot of those moments other than just the insanity that is Florida.
Well, he was doing that last week when we were talking about Happy Gilmore too. He goes, "Yeah, that grocery store, it's right down the street from me. Oh, I know where they're playing."
Yeah, because I remember they were shooting Happy Gilmore all around this area,
right? And
then I'm watching it again. I go, that golf course is 10 minutes from me. Oh, that supermarket's 2 towns. I know where that one is. It's like, you sit there, I'm like, oh, now that's the reverse Sopranos. I was invested because I'm like, I know the parking lot they're standing. I know where that neighborhood is. I know that golf course. I know all of that.
Does that take you out though? Does that take you out of that? Makes it feel too realistic? Because you know the
No,
area?
It makes me mad that I didn't sneak over there and try to get a photo while they were on set. That's what makes me mad. I'm like, they were right there and I didn't go over there.
Well, I think that's why in that vein, I think that's why these old school shows, though, are continually the most streamed shows. The Grey's Anatomy, the proper structure,
because it's relaxing.
But it's well done. There's arc. There's storylines. Do you think Netflix goal is to create quality programming, or is it to keep your ass sitting on the couch? I'll answer.
I don't know, because after 3 episodes,
it's
it does a wellness check on me and it says, "Are you still here? Are you watching?" Yes. Stop. I don't need to find the remote to tell you I'm watching.
They
this.
added the option on there where it's like, "Do you want me to remind you again?" No, I don't. Keep it going.
I think HBO does. I think if you talk to the CEOs of HBO, they say yes. I think if you talk to people at A24, obviously the way that they do those things. I think if you talk to a CEO of the major streaming platforms, not one of them is going to say, "I really want to tell an amazing story." No, I want people to subscribe, and I want for this to be popular for 3 weeks. And then I don't give a shit about it.
Yeah. That's kind of, I'll tell you this, the parallels to Sirius is whenever they would launch a new channel or a new program, it was all hands on deck with the company for about a month. And then the next press release would come out and like, well, now we're doing the Billy Joel Micro channel. Everybody needs to be over there. What happened to volume over here? Oh yeah, they're fine. They're up and running.
Correct.
There's the wires are still hanging out of the wall. Like you didn't finish building the studio. We're over here now. We're moving over to the next thing. I want to get into your radio career in just a second, Carlos, but I do want to plug your stuff again there. Let me throw you back up on the screen because
thanks, man.
We were showing it on the screen, but we didn't say it for the radio audience there. Check out Carlos's YouTube channel, To the Top with Carlos Navarro, Navarro. Go over there, like and subscribe, flood his chat because no matter what you're saying or doing, it's the engagement that counts. Right. But say some nice things. He's a sweet man. Instagram you. To the Top with Carlos, and you're not. I think that's pretty much where you're focusing your soul because not everybody's everywhere anymore. Some platforms are dead, some are too toxic, so everybody's kind of. YouTube and Instagram seems to be the middle where everybody is, and then you have Facebook because you have old family members you still got to talk.
I'm kind of into Rumble right now,
right? Guys. You need 80-year-olds that want to fill out surveys with all their information.
I want to talk about your radio stuff, but I wanted to just touch on you're a big Sopranos fan. You said right?
You know what? I would probably. I mean, look, I brought it up in the random conversation, and it is one. So yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Have you seen the video game when they did Tony Soprano's Pro Skater?
No, I haven't seen that, but just the sound.
All right, this is a favorite of ours, Carlos. I want you to take a look at this.
Oh, please.
So here I am, eating the cool again. La lying to my kitchen and friends. But then I'm a garbage man. Try to eat.
Every time. It's so stupid.
It's one of our favorite things.
I love it. I love it. God rest rest in peace, Tony. You took really good care of yourself. Your body was your temple, and
I always love hearing the last meal he had.
I read the same thing, Jordan.
Just the amount of food and fat and alcohol that man consumed.
I had 2 pina coladas. I had a margarita. And I had some shrimp scampies.
I had 8 cheese and wine plates.
Some gabagool.
Gabagool.
I like that. People, some actors, like, I'm very different. This is me. This is Tony Soprano. This is me as James Gandolfini.
I read a story the other day. It's funny that he comes up. I read a story the other day that I guess he auditioned to be the Jack character on Titanic. And they said that we can't have them because he always looks like he's pissed off and we need the audience to relate to this character. I'm just sitting there going... Yeah, I can see it.
How the fuck did you not see the iceberg there?
Hey, how'd you get on the boat?
What are we going to do with all these people on the boats? We don't have enough boats.
So funny, though.
Yeah, perfect, Jack. Great casting, camera. It's like it was between, James
Gandolfini
and this young kid called Leo.
Who cares?
Carlos, so I want to go down a little bit of, do you have some time or do you got to go?
You know what? I got till about 10:30. Then the wifey's downstairs.
All right.
We're going to watch some baseball and chill.
So we'll go through this pretty quick here.
Sure.
You're one of those guys that was fortunate enough to be on one show in one market for your entire career. Most people are all around you. I did this market, Some people are just bouncing all over the place. Some people don't even get to be on a show that resonates and is popular and gets to the level of the show that you were on. When did you start at WTKS, which is Real Radio in Orlando? When did you start there and get onto the Monsters?
1998.
Wow.
Okay.
Were you right out of college or in college?
In the right out of high school, fall college, taking a fall Valencia Community College film school. As I was going to film school. I was not into radio. And then my mom was like, they have a production intern. You should head over there. You know, that TV production stuff. Went over there, became a production intern. Was listening. Oh my God, Howard Stern's here. I walked down the hall to go look where he was at, and Russ and Bo and Dirty Jim were there.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And they were doing stuff. And then, but hey, you want to be our intern? And I became the intern at 17. And then I turned 18 as I was this intern. Did about a semester with them. Didn't make a mark at all. They were insane. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I'm this little Hispanic kid from, they call me Black Bean. I didn't realize that was kind of pseudo, bigot. I didn't realize it at the time. I was like, oh, that's cool. Anyway, then I said, all right, screw it. I'll start being funny. I started cracking jokes. And then Daniel, who used to be the producer for the Drew Garabo show, who is now
Daniel Dennis. Yeah.
Daniel Dennis. Yeah. Who's the host of Tom and Dan.
Which, by the way, that's an insane success story, too, for them spinning off of radio. And that was before everyone was leaving radio to do all that.
Yeah. They got well ahead of it, man. They really hit exactly when they should have. And so then Daniel came on board, and him and I clicked really, really well. And we were like a duo for that. And they noticed that. And they were like, so they hired us both. And he was the main producer, and I was the call screener. And then we had a really good run for about 7-8 years of just, taking over Howard's spot, getting out of the middays, doing very well. And then I was let go. I was fired probably about, I do know, because I was getting married, 2007. And
why?
Just beef with Russ and beef with the station. And they act. Here, you want to know the real deal?
Can I ask a question with that?
Yeah,
if I'm remembering correctly, did you have a fight with Drew?
Yeah.
Did you punch Drew Garabo?
Yep. I knocked him out, went to jail, all that shit.
Is that why you got fired? Or was that?
Nope, that was years later. I got fired years later. They had my back fully for that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I faced a felony charge on that. I really screwed up. I was wild as hell back in the day, man. I had to quit drinking. I got arrested 3 times. I'm a bit of a madman if undisciplined. And thankfully I'm extremely disciplined now. And I'm a dad, and I'm a softball coach, and I haven't drank in over 9 years. And
that's great,
so
man.
I'm a
Good
bit.
for you.
Thanks, appreciate it. So I'm a bit of a story. So anyway, so I got let go. Also, the other reason was Daniel and I were close. We were going to take over Drew's show. We were going to leave, and they knew that, so they split us up. So they fired me. and so they fired me as I was about to get married, and so, and I was acting. I was just starting to act. And they're like, you're not going to be an actor. You'll never be in anything, they would tell me. You're never even going to be in a commercial. This is the biggest thing you'll ever do. The people on the show, certain people on the show would tell me that. And I said, fuck. I didn't say that to them then because they were crazy. But I said, I'll prove you wrong. And because I love movies, and that was what I was supposed to be doing. And so I went through some shit and got sober. And started booking stuff, got an identity thief, started, I got my real estate license. I was hustling, man. I was doing everything I possibly could to stay acting. And then I booked some really good gigs. And then a position opened back up at the radio station. And I kind of mended fences. In the sense of I really had no beef.
You got fired in 2007, you said?
Yep.
When did you go back? What year?
2015.
Wow, so you were gone for 8 years.
Dude.
Yeah, Jordan, the show he was on had 10 people. It was unheard of. They were a major show in a big market, but they were not, for a little bit, they were regionally syndicated, but they weren't nationally syndicated. They had 10 people that were on air. Some were producers, others were musicians. One was a very lovely but crazy blonde who's now handling alligators and stuff for a living. The show was insane to listen to, but they all worked somehow.
It did. That just sounds logistically like a nightmare.
Oh, it was. If you listened to it and you weren't part of it, you'd be like, "Oh my god!" But it worked. It did. We were a fun. We were the epitome of a wild. We weren't Howard, but we were a version of Howard and a version of Opie and Anthony, but we were our own thing. And truly, a lot of fun, a lot of craziness. And I was a young man going through this, in the midst of it, and with no.
They put on concerts.
Oh yeah, we sold out Hard Rock.
I
was-
had to work a couple of them. I mean, I'll get to that in a second. But you and I have crossed paths a few times. When I was working for Rural Radio, I was working out of West Palm.
Oh right.
And I'll get into that in a second. But please continue. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, I was always just acting and doing my thing, and then the position opened, and Russ asked me to come back by, and I said in my head, I said, if I go back on that show, I'm gonna crush it. And they're gonna ask me to come back, and I'm gonna flip it. They left me out high and dry, and I'm gonna work and they're gonna need me. And they were eating shit in the ratings, okay? And guess what? My ass went back there and brought them back to number one. And they gave me a little shitty contract in the beginning, and then they gave me a nice one that ultimately led to me being laid off because they're like, "Why is this guy? He negotiated his contract pretty well. He's making a lot of money. He's not even the host, huh?" And I think ultimately they looked at the sheet. They're like, "Why is this guy making so much money?"
That's how they got you because you didn't have host in your agreement.
Yeah, it was co-host. It was co-host.
Oh no, so you had an on-air title, so they.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Okay.
No. What they did, that. So anyway, I got back on.
Yeah.
And I was on until, like I said, 24, and had a lot of great times, had a lot of fun. But really booked Walking Dead. I was acting the entire time. And people don't really like it when you take time off or do things other than radio. And so that breeds a bunch of animosity and jealousy, not by everybody, but by those who have quote unquote power. Mm-hmm. And they don't like that shit. So ultimately, I wasn't a guy that was always 2 feet in on the radio thing. And I really did a lot with them, and I busted my ass, and I did a lot of stuff, had a lot of good times. But I would have liked to have finished my contract. That would have been like the easiest thing to do.
Did they pay out the rest of your contract?
No, but in the sense of like, here's why people have bad feelings with radio. Because they don't know how to let people go. Mm-hmm. They think people, you sign somebody to a contract. You go, hey, do you want to finish out your contract? Or we're going to let you go at the end of this. Okay, cool. That gives me a year, or that gives me some time.
Right.
And that's a respectful way of doing something.
Yeah, they don't operate that. They want you out of the building. They want your key cards turned in. They want to go they have somebody in your office seizing your laptop or your computer already, like you were arrested for wire fraud or something.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But this time
how much time did you have left on your contract?
I think like a year and a half, maybe. Something like that. But ultimately that didn't matter. And actually it's perfect because this kind of circles back to exactly what we're talking about. First time I got laid off or fired, I had nothing. I didn't know. I did nothing. It was 2007. Think about that time, right? I know it doesn't seem to us like that long, but technology and software and
it's almost
everything.
20 years ago at this point. Trust me.
Life
is going fast.
Yes. So I said to myself, if that ever happens to me, and it did, they end up calling me over to a Friday, random ass day. It's not a performance thing. It's just layoffs, and they laid off. They do that swipe where they just go down the line. And
your layoff, I found because we're tied in and everything. But I heard that day, it was like all around the country, so it wasn't just like they were clearing house. But I was hearing, I'm friends with Sean Wasson, who does the News Junkie down there.
Great.
I've
Love Sean.
known him forever.
He's one of the best in the business.
Correct.
Sean is one of the best and one of the few people who reached out to my ass afterwards and grabbed my ass. No, I'm just kidding. He literally, gave me a good shout out.
At least he thought of you.
Yo, for real. And you know how that is.
Yeah, that means the world to you.
Absolutely, man.
About a year ago. I forgot what it was. Sean will remember. I got to look back at my text messages, but I was somewhere where there was a lot of executives, a lot of iHeart executives. And I heard some stuff that I don't think I was supposed to have heard. And there was, rumblings about something changing with your old station down there in Orlando. Mm-hmm. And I sent a message to Sean. I go, hey, take this for what it's worth. I think something's coming. I'm hearing that it's your cluster down there and it might be affecting your stations or what have you. Are there executives or other people down there or heading down there? And then within like a day or two or something like that, he's like, yeah, they're down here. I was like, all right, I don't know if this is 100%, but this is what I know. him being the genius that he is, started teasing it that, there's a Black Monday or something. There was a big corporate meeting for that cluster that was going to happen. And he kept talking about it on the air, and everybody else is freaking out. Like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm like, smart. If you're going to go out blazing.
Exactly.
Because if it doesn't happen, all right, cool. It didn't happen. If it does, you're Nostradamus. You knew all this stuff before. And I think a couple of things happened, but it didn't affect his show and
he's covered.
Station. Yeah, he's good.
He owns everything.
Yeah.
He's like a guy he was one of those. I'm like, look, you can plug and play. You can go wherever you want right now. He owns his stuff. The majority of people on that station don't own their stuff.
No. Sean's really good. I've known him forever. Really good dude with all of that stuff. I know you got to leave in a couple minutes, so I just want to race through this quick. So where you and I, our paths first crossed, I was working down in West Palm Beach for Real Radio down there with Josh Cohen. I was working on his show.
I remember Josh.
Right? Then we started hearing rumblings that they might be looking to syndicate some shows, and we're like, really? Because the shows they had in West Palm were pretty much fixed for that audience. That
Love Doctors.
Yeah. That very white trashy trucker kind of biker kind of thing. Like West Palm, the audience that they served for West Palm would be the same audience, I guess, like Tampa proper, not Clearwater, but right?
Yeah. Yes.
So we heard about all of this stuff, and then we hear from a guy. I'm hoping this was the guy's name, Chris Campmeyer.
Yeah, Chris Campmeyer. He's like, "Hey, bud, how you doing?"
Yeah, right.
Like Chris, yeah, he's the programming director.
He had a meeting with, I guess, a couple of. It was the weirdest syndication, Jordan. They syndicated the branding and the station, not a show. It's not like, hey, we're going to syndicate your show. We're going to provide it off because it was iHeart, so Premiere. It's like, we'll put you on stations through Premiere, but then we'll open it up and sell it to anybody else who wants to buy in for the syndication. No, the radio station had to flip their format, become Real Radio, whatever frequency, whatever markets, and take most of these shows. It was the weirdest deal to do, but they did it for a while. Chris Campmeyer's thing was they were going to syndicate the Love Docs to one market, but then it was going to be Drew Garabo and all the other markets. If you had a morning show, contracted that stayed. So some markets got Lex and Terry. Others had Bubba. And then, you guys, you weren't mornings yet. You were still the midday show. We have a meeting. Chris, I guess, comes down to West Palm Beach. I was not at that meeting, but then I got told by our GMPD that we're going to be doing some cross stuff with them because we're now carrying you guys as the midday show on our thing. They sent us up to Orlando. I'm meeting somebody named Panama Jew. I'm meeting Catherine Brown, whatever.
Jesus.
We met these people, and we're like, I'm with Josh in the West Palm thing and what have you. So then they had me driving from West Palm to Orlando every now and then to help with just some promotional stuff. You guys had this thing called Miss Monster, which was a big concert. It was like their WrestleMania of the year. And this one, I think, happened to be in Daytona. I think it was Daytona Beach. And I had some photos that I found here.
Yeah, baby.
Of this.
Yeah, that's definitely Daytona Beach. Yeah, that's at the Plaza.
Right. So I'm working with, I'm there, but I'm working with Tuttle. I'm working with Soul Brother Kevin. I'm working with a few other people from your station who I don't think were on air.
Yep.
But Jordan, look at these crowds. This is you on the left there, right?
Yep. Yeah. I'm wearing my Simpson shirt, my Ralph Wiggum shirt.
There's no radio show that's pulling crowds like this today. Doesn't matter where you are. You're not getting a crowd like this.
That was all weekend long.
Right.
Over 5,000 people. We truly were this crazy, like, little boy man bandish. Remember, it was radio, TV, magazines.
Yep.
That's it.
You guys were Jordan Crystals, which is the White Castle of the South.
Yeah.
They had their faces on the collector's cups. They had their faces on the ads.
Yeah,
dude. Like Snoop Dogg with Raising Cane's.
Yeah, it was just the Wild West, but down south, all this shit going on. So I happen to be there during this time because O&A is not allowed to come back on the air. So now I'm down here mixed up in all this shit. This is all going on.
I didn't know all this, by the way, Eric. That's funny. Like, I didn't realize this.
So I'm there. Like, I'm taking these photos. I'm helping, out and doing whatever. Whenever there was shit, we had to respond to, I guess Orlando ran everything for Real Radio for all of that stuff. So whatever it was like, hey, we need people coming up here for what other things. You also had this other program, promotional thing called Kicks for Guns.
Yep.
Where they would go out to locations in all the markets, and they would, with law enforcement, we were partnered with local sheriffs or police or whatever the region had, and people would turn in their guns to the police. They would be, bag tagged, certified, sign the papers, and then we had these expensive sneakers that we would give them in return for each weapon that they handed in. I found and this was again, we didn't have digital cameras. These were the disposable Kodak things.
So old. Now.
I found this. Wait a minute, where is it? This photo here.
Yeah,
so look, so I'm right there on the right. I forgot this girl's name, but Drew Garabo's there, Bubba Wilson's there, Savannah, Josh.
Classic. That's Clarence Clemens, dude. That's
from Bruce Springsteen. That's the Panama Jew guy that he's holding on to.
Yeah.
That
we performed, ready, Jordan? We performed our songs with Clarence Clemens playing saxophone.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like surreal. Like I was 20 something at the time. I had no idea who I was playing with. I knew he was cool, but like he ended up loving our show. You know how it is, Eric, and you guys, like when like some crazy celebrity just happens to love the show you're doing. Yeah. Everyone in that photo is not dead. I see your comments here on the side. But close. Bubba's dead.
Bubba's dead, and Clarence is
Clarence
dead.
is dead. Savannah's looking better than ever, though. I'll be honest.
Yes, her Instagram is insane. She's just fighting alligators. She works at Gatorland or one of those preserve things. She's handling snakes and alligators, throwing them at kids. Like, she's just insane. And then comes in and does radio part time. Fantastic. There's another one. It's me and Silver. I mean,
oh my gosh, look at you with your little frosted tips. Did we all have frosted tips?
We all did at that time. And this is probably one of those days where we were out doing whatever. I hadn't slept in 24 hours because I had to drive all the way up to Florida.
He was up performing with his boy band that night. So
yes, 98 degrees in me. Yeah. But I think there's other photos that I have somewhere that I just didn't have scanned, but I wanted to bring a couple of those to show some stuff. I was like, oh, he would get a kick out of some of these things. That's cool.
Yeah, I love. I don't go back and rewind the clock a lot, but when I do see the photos, it is a bit surreal to see.
And that monsters, that first Miss Monster thing is where I met one of my really good friends. She was a big super fan of you guys.
What was her name?
Her name was Molly. And
Molly.
Malibu PJ.
Malibu PJ. Yeah,
she was. Yeah. She had. You guys had these dog tags with numbers for your fan base and stuff like that. And all I was working, I met her, and then she just was introducing me to you have regular fans and stuff that would come to all these events, and I was learning how all this shit worked and what you guys were doing. But she was a super fan with you and Jim Phillips and Drew and all that stuff forever. And then she, over time when I went back with O&A, she would give me updates and, hey, you got to check out this clip. You got to see what they're doing. Look what happens when this wrestler came on. Like, she was super fan for you guys.
If we would have had a YouTube back then.
Oh yeah.
Truly would have just been so viral every show. And same with you guys. It was just what they're doing on YouTube and stuff like that essentially is kind of the stuff we did on radio.
Well, we did that early on. We had our own website long before YouTube. Our producer Steve ran a site called Foundry Music, and he knew, like 98, 99, he had the camera. He knew to take the little tapes, transfer them. You were making clips for like Real Video and Real Player and stuff like that. And
Real Player, that's funny.
You were ahead of the time. So by the time the companies figured out, we should be doing video, and we need to own your YouTube channel now, or we need to own your Facebook. No, you don't. You don't get to own it now because you were so far behind. But anyway, that was a really wild time in my radio career. Josh is very more of a cerebral show, very straight-laced kind of thing, very funny. But then you guys, you walk in there, I'm like, what the fuck is going on at this place? Because Bubba was either sleeping or just wailing on his keyboard.
There was no playing.
Yeah.
There was everybody's drunk or on pills or fighting, I physically got in several fights in the studio, and then it would just calm down.
Yeah.
Like old school 90s NBA, like nobody would get a flagrant, nobody would call it into HR. It's like, you boys be boys, All right, you guys calm down now. All right, you know, like
you got to come on. You're back in 4. Get it together.
Jeff, Jared, and Russ fought. I literally had to rip them apart one time, like for real fighting. Like,
yeah, they were not pretending to be rednecks. They were just rednecks were given a radio show, and that's the debauchery you got. That was when we talk about the days of reality radio before what it is now, which is all scripted, but just turning on Howard, us. These guys were a different kind of reality radio that pretty much capsulized the area they were serving. Because that shit was not being passed around the country like Howard tapes or Kevin and Bean and Lex and Terry and those kind of man cow even. But when you found their albums were showing up in like Sam Goody, they had music CDs and then they had a DVD of, and you're like, what the fuck is this show? And then you start passing around people like, these people are crazy. How are they allowed to do this shit? We can't do that in these markets. How are they getting away with it?
We got away with way worse than some pig being killed on the air.
Yeah.
Like, I know for sure there were some episodes that were way past the FCC line that just never got heard from again.
Dude, there is some songs you guys had that I wasn't going to play here, but there is
Pirate?
Huh? Oh,
Bass
no.
Pirate?
No. There was 2 songs you guys had that I was like, I can't believe this is playing on the radio. The first one was called West Palm Beach. And it was a song.
Nothing wrong with West Palm.
Right. But the song was the first thing they said hi to everybody. Bubba played this song about West Palm Beach because we were the first market you guys came to.
Yep.
And the things he was talking about in a motel pool and some of the other things, I went, wow, he'd get killed in New York for playing that song. But down here it seems to work. And then the other one was Kevin, soul brother Kevin.
It's BK.
Very personable character, very nice guy. He wound up becoming an intern and then working part-time and then actually getting a show. And then he was on in The Bone in Tampa for a while. So he had a really good run. But he had a song called You Can Say on the Radio. And that got played all the time. I was like, oh my God, this place is amazing.
I forgot about that song. Oh
yeah.
There's so many songs. I'm so glad. Yeah, that was a good song, though.
Yeah, there was that. And then you had, wow, look at this, because that was his catchphrase. And he had the prize closet where he'd read the thing and he'd look, oh, wow, look at this.
Oh,
and
wow, look at this.
He's like, who wants a TiVo? And I'm like, why is he talking like that? It's hilarious, but why is he doing that way?
I had Police Beat Me Up instead of Feliz Navidad.
Yeah.
Police beat me up.
Yep.
Stuck baton in my butt.
Yeah, all of that stuff is
like crazy,
dude. What radio really was
there,
fun,
Eric. I think we ended with baton in my butt. I think that. Can we quote that, Jordan? And
that'll be the show title.
That was let's give you a chance to. I know you got to run. You're a little over time. I thank you for putting up with this. Let's give it another chance to plug all your stuff here. Tell everybody where to find you and what to look for.
Ready? Here we go. The very best way to find me, sure, YouTube. Why not? I'm always posting stuff on there. But if you want to learn a little bit more about me, you can go to IamCarlosNavarro.com. Guess what, guys? I'm bringing it back old school websites, cutting out the middleman. Screw you, IG. Screw you. No, we're going to.
Hello, Live Journal.
You know? Yeah, I'm not blogging again. You know? So, no, truly, you can find me. To the Top Carlos going to find everywhere. And hopefully you'll see me on Netflix here soon on a show. And a movie called Rent Race, a comedy that I just shot that you will see on Peacock hopefully soon. And my film, The Witchmasters General, that is in pre-production right now.
Fantastic. To the Top Carlos on Instagram, To the Top with Carlos Navarro. Again, it has to be said for his YouTube channel. He's live a couple times a week. What days are you live doing your morning show?
I'm doing it Friday. Tomorrow I will be live. I'm doing it Friday, 8:30 a.m. I realize Fridays are the perfect time. Wrap up the week, be able to talk. I was doing it Wednesday and Friday, but I realized Friday's actually when I get the most love. So, and then I'm putting videos and stuff out throughout the week.
Perfect. And if you were Walking Dead fans, that era that they had with The Kingdom, Carlos was a part of that. Hawkeye on Disney Plus again.
Thanks, man.
You did Prison Break too, right?
Yeah, Prison Break. Yeah. Identity Thief. Bloodline.
He actually showed up in a show in like the second season of a show that I really, really enjoy, The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, thanks,
man. I love that show.
Yeah, that was really cool. I got to work with Tina Fey, and I played Coaster Joe, and Lisa Kudrow was my girlfriend in it. So, thanks, man. I had a lot of fun in that.
Carlos, love you, man. Come back on the show anytime you want to shoot the shit. It doesn't even have to be promoted. If you just want to come and hang out and watch stupid videos with us, we'd love to have you. I
kinda would like to just talk shit about movies and TV shows with you. So
we can do all that stuff too. Carlos Navarro. Please go support Mr. Lover Los, if you will. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll try to fit segment 2 stuff in there. We got a bunch of videos and other stuff to get to. Plus, we got to go to the bathroom, so we'll be right back.
More, it's Eric Nagel.
It's Eric